This ugly lump, this grew in the dirt, and in 2021, a version of it sold for $330,000, or approximately £243,000. That's more than a Ferrari, more than some houses. And it's not a gemstone, not a piece of technology. It's a mushroom. Welcome to the world of ultra-luxury food, where the price tags don't just reflect taste, they reflect science, rarity, history, culture, and the psychology of human desire. Because behind every insanely expensive food, there's a reason. And once you understand it, you'll never look at food the same way again. So, let's get into it. First up, the undisputed king of the table, the white Alba truffle, tuber magnatum. It grows in a tiny region of Piedmont, northwest Italy, particularly around Alba, and nowhere else in the world at this level of quality. But what makes it extraordinary isn't just where it grows, it's how it grows. White truffles form a rare biological partnership with the roots of oak and hazelnut trees, a symbiotic system so complex, scientists still cannot reliably reproduce it at scale. No farms, no factories, no guarantees. The soil, the pH, the microorganisms, it all has to align perfectly, or you get nothing. They're found using specially trained dogs, capable of detecting invisible aroma compounds deep underground, like a buried treasure. Even then, finding one is pure luck. The harvest season lasts just 3 months, and once removed from the soil, the clock starts ticking. Within days, the aroma fades. Within a week, it's gone. Freezing? Possible, but it destroys quality. So they must be used almost immediately. This is a food that cannot be stored, cannot be mass-produced, and cannot be rushed. In one famous case, in 2021, a 750-gram white truffle went for a staggering $330,000 at auction. The current market price per kilogram is $5,800 to $9,900 USD, approximately 4,250 pounds to 7,250 pounds. It's not just a mushroom, it's a fleeting moment of nature. Next, we have Alma's caviar, one of the rarest foods on Earth. It comes from the beluga sturgeon, a prehistoric fish that can live over 100 years. Alma's means diamond in Persian, reflecting its status as one of the world's costliest luxury foods. But here's the catch. While normal beluga sturgeons take about 20 years to produce roe, albino variants require 60 to 100 years, making the pale ivory to golden eggs exceptionally scarce, which means the supply is incredibly limited. Add overfishing, habitat decline, and strict regulation. It's a waiting game that takes a lifetime. These eggs are traditionally served or packaged in 24-karat gold tins, not because it needs to be, but because it fits the story. It is described as having a creamy, dessert-like finish with zero fishiness. The current price per kilogram is $25,000 to $35,000 or 20,000 pounds to 28,000 pounds. Annual worldwide production is measured in kilograms, not tons. It's not about the food. It's about serving something most restaurants have never even seen. Next on the list is Yubari melons. In Japan, food is art, and the Yubari King melon is the Mona Lisa. This isn't just fruit, it's perfection, engineered. Each plant produces just one melon. Temperature, water, and light are controlled with extreme precision. The fruit is carefully rotated, are massaged by hand to ensure perfect symmetry, monitored and perfected over 100 days. The first harvest of the season is sold at auction to celebrate the new season. Now check this out. While the famous 2019 pear sold for $45,000, the 2026 auction told a different story. In May 2026, a pair of first harvest Yubari King melons sold for 5.8 million yen, roughly 37,000 US dollars or 27,000 British pounds. That's a 13% drop, but still a massive chunk of change. But here's what most people don't know. The auction price isn't about food, it's about prestige and publicity. Outside the auction, a single melon typically sells for about 140 to 350 US dollars, or 110 to 270 pounds. Premium gift-grade melons can go for over 100,000 yen, around 700 US dollars, or 540 pounds per melon. Who buys them? Companies, hotels. They aren't for eating. They are a status symbol, a gift communicating the highest possible respect. Now, let's talk about saffron, the world's most expensive spice. Often called red gold, its value isn't just hype, it's pure math. Saffron comes from the dried stigmas of the Crocus sativus flower. Each flower produces exactly 3 of these tiny red threads. Here's where the numbers get insane. To produce just 1 kilogram of dried saffron, you need roughly 150,000 to 250,000 flowers. Each one must be picked by hand, and the entire harvest window is only 2 to 3 weeks a year. Iran produces 90% of the world's saffron. In 2026, the price has nearly doubled because of the supply shortage. For a full pound or 453 grams, high-grade retail saffron ranges from $1,800 to $9,000, roughly 1,400 pounds to 7,000 pounds, while wholesale or commercial bulk quantities can vary significantly based on quality and origin. In Kashmir, GI-tagged saffron is selling at around $6,000 or 4,600 pounds per kilogram. Supply is shrinking. Climate change is hurting yields and demand is rising. Next is bluefin tuna, the $3.2 million catch. In January 2026, a 243-kilogram Pacific bluefin tuna, that's 535 pounds, sold at Tokyo's Toyosu market for a record 510 million yen. That's 3.2 million US dollars, or 2.5 million pounds. Per kilogram, that's $13,360. The buyer was Kiyoshi Kimura, the tuna king, and it was a marketing statement. Standard commercial wholesale and retail prices range from $20 to $52 per kilogram, depending on quality and region. But here's the twist. Pacific bluefin populations are actually recovering, and fishermen are hitting quotas early. The price is about prestige, not scarcity. Even chocolate enters the luxury tier. Some rare cacao varieties, like Criollo, are prized for their delicate flavor and complex aroma. Criollo cacao is historically associated with Central and South America, but today it represents only a small fraction of global cacao production. Why so rare? The trees can be more vulnerable to disease, and their yields are generally lower than hardier commercial cacao varieties. And that creates a problem for luxury chocolate makers. You can't simply plant millions of trees and expect the same flavor. Instead, you're dealing with fragile genetics, specific growing conditions, careful fermentation, and meticulous processing. The result can be chocolate with remarkably complex notes, sometimes described as nutty, floral, fruity, or almost caramel-like. And here's the twist. The most expensive chocolate isn't necessarily made from the rarest cacao alone. The price can also come from where the cacao was grown, how it was fermented, how carefully it was processed, and how exclusive the final product is. So when you're holding an expensive piece of chocolate, you're not just paying for cocoa, you're paying for scarcity, craftsmanship, and flavor that took years to develop. And finally, the beverage that makes people do a double take, kopi luwak. This is coffee made from beans that have been eaten, digested, and excreted by the Asian palm civet. The animal's digestive enzymes break down the proteins in the coffee bean, which supposedly reduces bitterness and creates a remarkably smooth, unique flavor profile. The beans are then carefully collected, washed, and roasted. The process is incredibly labor-intensive, and true wild-sourced kopi luwak is extremely rare. But today, much of the industry relies on caged animals, raising serious ethical concerns. In 2026, a single cup of this exotic brew can cost nearly $100 or 84 pounds. And if you want to buy it by the kilogram, it is $600 to $1,300 or 470 pounds to 1,000 pounds. It's one of the most labor-intensive foods on the planet, and the market for it, driven by sheer curiosity, continues to thrive. So here's the real question. Do these foods actually taste better? The honest answer? Sometimes, but not always. In one famous Stanford study, participants were hooked to brain scanners while they tasted wine. Everyone drank the same wine, but when told it cost $90, the brain's pleasure center lit up significantly more than when told it cost $10. Same liquid, different belief. This is called expectation bias, and it changes how your brain literally experiences flavor. You aren't paying for the food, you're paying for the feeling, the story, and the status. And that is the most expensive ingredient of all. What do you think? Would you pay $100 for a cup of coffee? Or is it all just hype? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of luxury, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to factlabpro for more science-backed stories that will change the way you see the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.